my name's Ethan. Um, I think probably Rawkstars. Uh, I'm trying to see. I started when I was so young, so like I don't even remember most of it. Um, so I want to say like 2014 probably is when they started helping out with paying for lessons and stuff like that. Um, and so it's honestly just been so like for most of the time that um I remember doing music, being having drum lessons, which is what they helped out for. It's been so integral with just honestly my life. um I have drum lesson every week, um and they've been helping out with that for so long, so it feels second nature at this point. I don't even really think about it. I just like, um, it's like part of my daily, like my schedule and stuff. Just like every week, like, oh, I got this drum lesson, and so them helping out with that definitely goes a long way. Um,
That's awesome. And the first instrument you got into was the drums, correct?
yes, yes, it was.
And what do you love about playing the drums? Or what have you learned the most about maybe yourself through learning to play the drums?
Okay, it's actually kind of there was it's the stupidest story as to how this came to be, but um, my family had a game called Rock Band. Um,
Yep.
Video, yeah, yeah, yeah. And so I couldn't. My finger was not fast enough for the guitar for that game, so I just did the drums. And I got interested into it because you know as much as it's not real music that you're playing, you do learn some of the core mechanics, some of the just how to do like rudiments, how to keep your all the words are losing me, but yeah, point is, you I it was interesting because the drums always, they keep the beat, they keep the band in line, and I kind of like that even though you're in the back, you're kind of keeping everybody together. um and so then when it came to real drums, I realized that continued through. You're keeping everyone in line, keeping them in beat, whilst also um, throwing in your own stuff through fills or rolls or what have you. And I also liked it because it felt less complex than some like guitar or some like piano, which I've played since then. And if I quite like having like melody and stuff, but I liked how simple it seemed, and then how deep it actually went.
That's nice. And then you got into piano, and now you've been kind of teaching yourself piano.
Yes.
I trying to think of the question I wanted to ask. So what inspired you to try other instruments, and did Rockstars help you like get that confidence to try other instruments?
I think it actually did probably. Going to where I used to have my drum lessons every now and then, they'd put on these concerts, and so I'd see them walking by. Um, and the place I went, they had all these instruments, and I would always try them out. Not good of them, of course, not good at them, of course, but just trying them out, just seeing how they work. Um, and so I think that just kind of like started broadening my horizons, planting the seed in my brain of like, oh, maybe I could do this. And then I think, um, I don't remember the name of where it was, but it was for one of the Rockstar anniversaries. Um, they had a bunch of the students come up and play instruments. Um, the Narrows, thank you. At the Narrows. Um, and honestly, looking back, I regret not having played something because I wish I did. And all of them were, you know, I just feel like I definitely could have gone up, and part of me did want to then, but I was like nervous about it. Um, and plus, drums isn't really like a solo instrument. So that's why like some like piano, I was like, well, what if I had like, an instrument for that kind of like for showing off. Um, so I think that's probably where that stemmed from. Um, is just seeing other students like play instruments and being like, oh, I want to do that, and then eventually trying to do that. So
Yeah, so I have been a board member of Rawkstars. Sadly, I don't know exactly how many years. 12, 11, 12, somewhere in that vicinity. And JJ is actually my cousin, so
Yeah.
I've known him almost my entire life. When he started the charity, it was just something that that moved me a lot, because music is one of the things that has bonded Jonathan and myself, and Jonathan's wife Lisa is my cousin, and Lisa and I actually grew up singing together and harmonizing and doing all sorts of stuff musically together. So as we got older and he started this charity, it was just such a perfect thing for him to do because of what music has done for him in his life. And it's pretty much done the same thing for me. It's been an escape. It's been a savior to me. It's helped me in so many ways throughout my childhood and my adulthood. So to be able to be a board member of Rawkstars, which basically does that, provides this for other young kids who otherwise can't do it themselves, just means the world to me. And I've had so much fun being a part of it. All the events that we've thrown between live performances, like at the Narrows, or doing the Falmouth Road Race, which we were part of for a few years, and just getting people on board and donating some money, all for such an amazing cause. So yeah, I feel so honored to be able to be a part of it. I always wish that there was more that I could do, but anytime he calls on me, I'm right on.
Yeah,
it's a great experience for me, provided by JJ.
Yeah, and it's been, Rockstars has been, as you said, such a great experience for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you said how much music has impacted your life. How has Rockstars and music impacted Ethan's life from your perspective?
Oh God, I can't even begin to tell you what it's done from him, at least for him, from his mom's perspective. He's been playing drums since, let's see, he's 18 now. Ethan has always been musically inclined and has always had such an interest in music. And I think he started drum lessons maybe around 8 or 9. And at the time, I was still with his dad, and we, we would pay for his lessons. And then sadly, as happens in many cases, we split up and I wasn't able to afford it. So I actually reached out to JJ and said, is there any way, because I would hate to see him lose this one thing that brings so much to him. I would hate to see him lose this chance that he has, with music. And being that I was a board member, I didn't want there to be any conflict, but, he met with all the other board members and they said, let's bring Ethan on as a student. And he has basically dedicated every single week for, you'd have to ask JJ. I know Ethan is the second longest standing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct.
So I'm not sure how many years, but it's just such a gift that JJ's given him. And it's given Ethan sort of a voice too. He's been through a lot with the changes here in our family, and he's an amazing kid, but he tends to be a little bit more on the quiet side, a little bit more introverted. Yeah. But I feel like him having this outlet to express himself has just done a world of good for him. And he's pretty much maintains the same teacher all these years. His name's John Francis, who I absolutely adore. And they're not just, teacher and student at this point. They've really bonded, and they've developed such a great relationship that's become a friendship, not just, the teacher to the student. And so I'm so grateful for that. Not everything that's come out of this has just been so beneficial, and he's grown so much with it, and it's helped put him out there. I'm trying to get him to a point where he may want to play a little bit more out, although these days no one's playing out anywhere. But he's still a little shy when it comes to it. But He's also gone from drums to piano. This kid sits at this piano every single day. A lot of it is self-taught. John has actually helped him a bit with it, with the music theory part of it, because he's a Berkeley graduate himself. But I mean, music is just part of this kid's life on a daily basis. And of course, it just fills my heart with pride, you know?
And obviously you adore Rawkstars. You love everything they do, and it's impacted your life in a multitude of ways. So what would you say to a potential Rawkstars parent or Rawkstars student that's thinking about getting lessons through Rawkstar and who's being introduced to Rawkstars? What would you say to them?
Oh, I mean, what couldn't you say? I mean, there's nothing negative about it at all. If it's something that a child wants to do, and that's my big belief, is they have to want it. When I was a kid, just to give you this little insight about me, I wanted desperately to take piano lessons. So I took them through the music teacher at elementary school. I would stay late a couple of days a week and I would play. And then my mother started paying for me to have lessons outside of that. But when I would come home, no one had to tell me, you know, sit down and practice your piano. I would sit in my classroom and I'd be thinking of the keys and I'd be thinking of the notes, not focusing on what was happening in the classroom. And as soon as I got home, I would dump my book bag, I would dump everything, and I would just sit and play every single day. Sadly, as I got into my teenage years, my priorities changed a little bit, and I wish they hadn't. But I think that the desire has to come from the child. I don't think it's something that should be forced. So if your child is showing, you know, a want or a need or a desire to play an instrument, and you're not able to provide that for them, then absolutely reach out to Rawkstars and give them this opportunity, because it's such a gift. It's such a tremendous gift. And I think that any parent who is whose child is actually a student right now would tell you that they've seen a change in their child.